Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Joe Daddy's Garage. It is Monday, February 1st. February 1st, 2021. And I can tell you right now, it's a cold day in Georgia. Very cold day in Georgia. I don't like cold days in Georgia, but I'm here. Been out in the garage most of the day trying to get stuff done. And I think I accomplished some stuff. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. If you are a first time viewer to this live stream, basically, it's a chat session with myself and anybody who may want to join in on the stream. I can invite them in. If they send me an email, I can send them an invite and they can join the session. Also, I have a dedicated group of people I should point that way, over there on the side bar, who interact and help out and keep this rolling along. So I'm happy that all of those people are here as well, because it would get really boring if I try to do this by myself and not have some support. So with that said, I'm going to go over some of the guys that are here and girls. I know there's some that show up. So Terry Baptist, hello, how's everybody doing? Glad you're here. Caden Winkle, 6 p.m. sound off. Must have got here early. Clark, thank you, man. Appreciate that very much. Robert, the Infernal Craftsman, I'm here. At least I think I am. Rick Stevenson, checking in. I don't know where you're at tonight, Rick. I know you travel, so it's hard to say where you're at. Clark, how many Daves are we up to? Hello, it's kind of early. Let's see what we have. Sammy Alyssa Smith, hello, everyone. Rick, so far, Dave's not here. Uh-oh, wait a minute. We have one Dave is here now. David Willis, Dave Conville. Whoa, hold on. Dave here, under 2 inches of snow, but here. Under 2 inches, under 2 feet of snow. Okay, sorry, I read that as 2 inches. I would say that's not much, but 2 feet, yeah, that's a big difference. Caden Winkle, okay, East Coast. You're on the East Coast then, yep. Phil, checking in from sunny California. Crash Rider from Southern Indiana, glad you're here. Chris Greenaway from Canada, I believe, right? Ontario? Is it Ontario? I think. Glad you're here. It's just me. Ding, ding. Chris Greenaway, negative 11 Celsius today in my neck of the woods in Midwestern Ontario. See, I was right. Ontario. I get a bell. Negative 11 Celsius? Yikes. Okay. Rusty's Mustang Garage. Just saying hello. 12 plus inches of snow today and more coming. Yeah, I don't want it. I don't want any of it. Bob Knoll, good evening. Glad you're here. Harvey, Rally Cat Garage, checking in from the frozen wasteland, New Jersey. I've been there. It's not that bad. It wasn't, at least it wasn't that bad in the summer. Marshall, howdy from cold. Yeah, that's also going to be Georgia. Big Red 6'7". Hey, Barry, glad you're here. Jorge, checking in tonight. Glad you made it. Marshall, howdy from cold enough for me, Georgia. Yeah, it is plenty cold. You know, and the thing is, I mentioned it before. I know I've lived here 30 plus years. I grew up in Pennsylvania, so I know the differences between cold and different areas of the country. And when it's cold in Georgia, it is cold. I mean, it's just a different feeling. And I think the temperature is around 32 degrees right now outside. And they've commented all day long that with the wind chill, it's like 20, 22, something like that. And it definitely feels like it. Darren Powell, morning from Southern or South Australia. Glad you're here, Darren. Bob Shoemaker from Oklahoma. Rick Gain. Hi, Barry. Hope all is well. We are under lots of snow. Yeah. Waiting for summer to get here. Rick Stevenson, cold, but no snow here in Northeast Florida. Glad you're here. No, I didn't know where you were at tonight, Rick, but I'm glad. All right. We have Boland's Garage. Give me a super sticker. Awesome. Thank you very much for that. Hello from Tyler, Jessica, Harley, and Gavin. Nice. I like that. Grease Rookie Andrew checking in. Nice. Joe Lee Cox, good evening. Glad you're here. Jorge, we got 19 inches so far, more coming. Wow. Yeah, no thanks. No thanks. Roger Martin, hey from Texas. Barry and everyone. Willie Goodman, good evening all. Robert, 75, was 75 and windy like a storm Saturday. Wow. I'll take 75 and windy. Chris, if you had to pick one Mercury to own, what would it be? One Mercury. One Mercury. I'd have to think about that because it's not the first thing that comes to mind when I think about cars is Mercuries. Although they do have some cool cars. I think I would, I don't know. I like the Comets. I like the Comets. They're pretty cool. Get a nicely optioned Comet. There was one for sale recently on Craigslist. On Facebook. It was really nice. It was really nice. It was red, 2-door hardtop, bucket seats. And I think it was, I don't know if it's what's the equivalent to the Galaxy? Is it a Monterey or something? I don't even know. But it was a sharp looking car, about a 63. Caden Winkle, the high here in my area on Saturday is only 20 degrees without the wind chill and 18 for the high on Sunday. Yeah, it's going to be cold this whole coming week. Not a fan. Dave, anyone here fluent in Jeep JK Wranglers? Wife's 2012 came home very loud. Almost sounds like a loose manifold. Rest of system looks okay. I think that should be pretty easy to find. Should be pretty easy to find. If it came home very loud. An old trick. This may sound silly, but an old tech tip. My dad did it, and my brother did it, and I do it, and I haven't done it in a long time. But take a piece of a small diameter hose and put it in your ear, and put the other end around the engine, and just listen for the sounds. And eventually, you'll find those noises. Just an old tech tip, I guess. Greg from Australia, how are you doing, Greg? I'm glad you're here. It's Greg's workshop. Wally, I guess we sent our snow south this week. Yeah, well, thank you for that. Octagon, checking in from Rogersville, Missouri at 30 degrees. Yep. A couple weeks or last week, I was outside in a t-shirt, for a couple days. Third Stall Garage. Hello, I just finished binge watching Brooklyn Pony. Thanks for all the great videos. Now I need to catch up on Jade. Yep. You sure do. And if you haven't seen Third Stall Garage yet, have a look at his channel. He started a new channel. Have a look at it. Grumpy's Toys Garage. Have you ever been to Carlisle, Pennsylvania at the flea market? I have not. I've always wanted to go. But have not made it. I don't know when I'll be able to go. I want to, but there's things in my way. There's things in the way to make that happen. Daryl, it's been 80 to 85 degrees here in Australia. Just saying. Oh, that sounds really nice. I'm hearing some winds blowing stuff around outside. It's been very windy today. Brandon checking in from Owasso, Oklahoma. Tulsa. Cool. Montego? No, I don't think the Montego was back in the early 60s, was it? We were talking about Mercury's. What was it? Was it a Montego? I don't think it was a Montego that was in comparison to like a 61, 2, 3 Galaxy. Was that the same? If it is, I may be wrong, but I'm not sure. Clark, have someone block the tailpipe while you listen for the leak. That's a good thing you could do as well. Just do it outside. Don't do it in the garage. Steve, Footage Factory, checking in. Steve, I was entertained. I'll say that. I was entertained by your little drill press thing. I'm sure it did the job you needed, but it was entertaining. I was chuckling at some of your ad-lib comments about the branding and the manufacture of that little drill press. It was good. I liked it. Chris, you bought more parts. Good. Hopefully the weather improves so you can get them on. Dave, thanks, Barry. I have an auto stethoscope. I'll give it a try. Why couldn't this happen when it's dry and warm? Yeah, exactly. Willie Goodman, floor pan replacement. Do you weld the underside as well, or just the top and seam seal both sides? Didn't catch that from the vids. Yeah, usually what I do, and I do the overlap of the panels. I weld the top edge to the old existing tranny tunnel or whatever. I will weld that, grind it, whatever, get rid of the high spots. And then underneath, I've done it different ways underneath the car. I've done it to where I've just taken a hammer and tapped down with the remainder of that flange to make it flush. I've treated it with epoxy, and then I've seam sealed it. I've done that before. I've done it where I've trimmed off a good bit of that flange and just still had a little left over. Same deal. Seam seal it, treat it and seam seal it. But I typically don't weld the bottom. I just haven't seen it necessary. Once I have that lap welded together, it's not going anywhere. And once everything is treated and sealed, and eventually it'll get undercoating as well. So that's how I do it. Rick, I watched a lot of your videos from 8-9 years back when you're doing a 65 coupe. You know what I'm going through now. I wish my body shop guy were as good as you. Well, yeah, Rick, I know you commented on one of those videos, and I was like, on that's green 65 that I worked on. And, that was like the first floor pan that I put in. And it was, that was a learning experience as well. But I'm glad you're watching those videos too. There's 600 videos of mine on YouTube. So there's always something available in there. Steve, high quality stuff, huh? Yeah. It was very interesting. I kept having certain terms pop up in my head, but I was entertaining. I liked it. Chris, although I thought you were talking about the 6873 and 634 would be the Comet or the Monterey. Yeah, I'm thinking the Galaxy equivalent was a Monterey, I think. But Steve, any news on fastback modification vid? No. I have not heard back from the gentleman who has the 67 for sale, and so I cannot pursue anything until I hear back from him. So that's just kind of treading water right now. Terry Baptist, $5. Awesome, man. Thank you very much. Good timing. I'll say that. Good timing. I need that to happen. Thank you. Willie Goodman, thumbs up. Yes. Marshall, got the rear bumper fitting properly. Finally, this past weekend, had to cut about a half-inch out of the new Dynacorn brackets. Only thing aftermarket Mustangs parts fit is the box they come in. Pretty accurate. Seamus, yo, from Canada again. Glad you're here. Chris, well, I got plenty of boxes ready to be on. Hopefully March it starts being more tolerable. Yeah. I'm looking forward to much better weather. Caden Wickle, I'm thinking about grub. Thinking about grub and impact wrenches and angle grinders and torque wrenches and stuff I can't have. Okay. Can't. Don't say can't. Maybe you just can't afford them right now. That may be the way to look at it. Roger Martin, because of you and teaching myself to weld on my 71 Bronco, several areas need the rust cut out and patches made. Where do you get metal for the patches? Well, that depends. I've used old body panels. A lot of my stuff, that depending on where it's going to go. Like in the Mustang, you can buy every piece for it. The Bronco, you can buy all the pieces for it. I mean, they're available. You can buy patch panels for every piece of that Bronco. So probably the Bronco companies aren't coming to mind right now as to who makes them, but your best bet is to buy one of those patch panels that's already fit to the Bronco. Otherwise, I have used old car hoods. I've used parts of doors. I've used fenders, leftover pieces from other projects, and just cut off what I needed and made the patches that I needed. But if you're doing a bigger piece, I would suggest you get try to get the full patch if you can. Bob, on my 67 Mustang, I'm done installing power steering and power disc brakes. Should be a good upgrade this summer. Next on my list, drive shaft transmission got a leak or two. Yep. Yeah, these old cars, they leak. That's how they are. Hey, Greg, car's looking good. Yep. Thank you. Steve, I will lend my 68 for the mod vid. Well, let me ask the wife. Yeah, I'll bet. I'll bet. Chris, that's why Mercury flopped, except for the Cougars and the Cyclones, as they were the step up from Mustangs and Trinos, but not a Lincoln. Yeah. Well, Mercury's, they survived up into the 90s. The brand survived well up into the 90s or 2000s. I think what was the last good Mercury they made was a Marauder. I think that was the last gasp for the Mercuries. Kevin Tressel checking in. Glad you're here. Christian Brothers Restoration. I am building a Ford T5 aka Mustang. Have you worked on one? No, I have not. But others in our group have. So if you have a question, share it with us and maybe we can help you out. Jeff's Bronco Graveyard for old Bronco parts. That's a good call. Thank you, Rick. There's several out there. I mean, Dynacorn makes Bronco patches. They make the bodies. They make all that stuff. So Dynacorn is probably a good choice. And I'm trying to remember if, I showed those mirrors that had the turn signal lights in them that I'm going to put on Jade. And that was United Pacific, I think is the name of the company. I think they make sheet metal as well, or sell sheet metal, I think. Let's see. Caden. So, Barry, do you have any advice on stripping cars without being sugar-coated? Any advice? Well, I don't know. I mean, I usually don't sugarcoat stuff very well anyway, but depending on what you're trying to do, if you're trying to just strip the whole car or strip a panel, typically I use those red fibrous discs just because that's the way I do it, and I'll knock off all the paint and material and whatever with those fibrous discs. I've tried paint stripper. Paint stripper is kind of a mix. The really good stuff that'll take it off will likely kill you. But, the other stuff, it kind of does it. It kind of does it. So I like using those red discs to strip stuff off. Or I may use a DA and 80 grit and go over the whole panel. There's also a product that I've been wanting to try. And it's a what do they call it? It's from Eastwood. And it's a body strip thing. I don't know what they call it, but it's a drum roller. I think it's about that wide. And from what I've seen, looks amazing. It's a handheld, tool that you go back and forth across the material and it takes off everything. It leaves the bare metal. And they said, in fact, when you're done with that, it's ready for primer. So I think I want to look into that. I did find one of those for sale, another version of that for sale. I don't know if it was online or if I saw it when I was at Summit, but there's another variation of that. So that may be another tool you could look at, is that Eastwood tool. I'd like to get one. I really would. I want to try it out. There it is. Rusty. There's the answer. Eastwood's SCT surface conditioning tool. Now, I can tell you from my experience, you're going to have to probably buy replacement spools or drums, whatever they sell, whatever that is that it strips off. You can't have removal without some sort of sacrificial element. So it's going to destroy whatever disc you're using as well, but I don't know how far you can get with one disc on one panel. So that may be a thing to look at. Check them out. Let's see. Cooter. GM announced the goal to end internal combustion light-duty vehicles by 2035. I think it will ultimately make muscle cars more desirable. Get them while you can. Yeah, until we end up doing a road warrior thing, right? When they shut off all the fuel. Isn't that the goal? Get rid of all the petroleum products. See how well that goes. But we'll turn in the road warrior and be, fighting each other for gas out of an old Volkswagen. Chris, so in my boxes, I have the side molding decals. I'm going to order the console, new steering wheel, and interior door panels. Cool. Sounds like a good start. David and Cheryl, late to the chat. Just Cheryl, cold, 28 degrees in Keatsville, Missouri. Yeah, it's cold everywhere. except for where Wally's at. I think it's warm up in Canada where Wally's at. Kevin, I stripped my 6'10" Mustang with a few wire wheels from Harbor Freight, took the fenders and I guess doors and something to the sandblasters. Okay. Well, I mean, that's always an option if you can do sandblasting or have the dry blasting. You know, the what is it? Can't think of it. Well, they have wet abrasive blasting and they have dry abrasive blasting. And I'm missing the term. You know, the baking soda. What is it? Isn't it baking soda they use in some instances? Doesn't harm the chrome and stuff like that. Let's see. Cooter, they won't hold their word with it. Remember, we were through this when the diesel craze happened. Yep. Boland's Garage. Has anyone checked out the new Tremac TX5 5-speed transmission? So there's a question from Boland's. Anyone checked out the new Tremac TKX5? I haven't. Harvey, lots of good videos and books on building a T5. Not too difficult, but as Barry says, sequence is scored. Yes. Make sure you put everything together in a proper sequence. Robert, there are lots of knockoffs of that Eastwood stripper, but they have the drum offset from the tool, not in line with the tool, which should work okay. Yeah, I haven't seen any of the others in action, but I have seen video clips of the Eastwood product. I'm gonna say Eastwood is probably gonna have the better tool. Just my guess. Dave, I have the Eastwood drum roller. I've used it while stripping my A. Still requires a bit of elbow grease to use, particularly on multiple layers of paint. So there is somewhat of an endorsement for the Eastwood drum roller, I assume. But thank you, Dave. Appreciate that. Let's see. Steve, dude, no joke about desirable car situation. It seems the prices are going through the roof everywhere. Yeah. Yep. Chris, -11. Yeah, that in Canada. No, that's all right. No thanks. Octagon, there's a YouTube channel called Gearbox Video, and he has a good video on T5 transmissions. All right, thank you, Octagon. Bob, the classics will go to electric cars, and that's what they'll become, electric hot rods. You know, and I hope they don't all do that, but I've said it before, I wouldn't mind doing a conversion of a Mustang into an electric Mustang, but probably something else I'll never get to. Yeah, Media Blast, yes. Media Blasting, yes. Chris, Footage Factory, I'd argue Mecum that recently was actually reasonable for once, except for Saturday. Okay. Willie, was he asking about a T5 transmission for the Ford or the Ford T5 from Germany? I think that's what they called the Mustang over there. He's talking about the T5 transmission, I believe. Terry Baptist, my 96 F-150 XLT is in repair shop getting oil pan gasket replaced. You're welcome for the $5. Well, thank you. I do appreciate that. Terry, Steve, sorry. I pre-ordered the TKX Tremac. I just did a video on it 2 weeks ago. I'll have it in March. Cool. That'll be nice. Wally, Red Barchetta by Canadian group Rush. Great song about making combustion engine illegal. Okay, I'll have to check that out. Red Barchetta by Canadian group Rush. Great song about making combustion engine illegal. Interesting. Bad Harry checking in. Good evening, everyone. The more electric cars there are, the more fuel for the Mustangs. That is a good point. And Clark is asking, Dave, which drum were you using? So I guess that's in relation to that Eastwood drum roller that Dave was talking about. So good. Okay, we're caught up. Awesome. We have 70 watching. Fantastic. I need a drink of coffee before it gets cold and intolerable. But, I talked about it on Thursday, and I'm going to talk about it a little bit tonight. And this is just for general information, that every January, YouTube revenue drops. It's just how it is. Every single January, because after Christmas, companies don't have money to spend, and revenue drops. And I had several people reach out to me and offer different suggestions as to how to, increase revenue or increase views or different things, along with some insight as to when to post videos and that sort of thing. Because I've been trying for like the last year to put out 2 videos a month or 2 videos a week, 2 regular videos. Haven't always made it, but I've been trying. So if you notice, like last week, I don't even know I think I had a repair video on the Honda that I'm driving. I did not put out a video on any of the Mustangs. The reason for that is they talk about the revenue. Some big time YouTubers, big, way above me. They said they don't even put anything out in January and February because YouTube doesn't have any revenue to throw at it. Like no advertisers really throw money at that stuff. So they're like, we find it's kind of worthless for them to put it out. They do, live streams and stuff like this. And then they talk about how they'll do videos that they try to get sponsored. Now, I haven't even tried that. I've never tried to get a sponsored video. I mean, I did have some, the Memtech brush video that was, they helped me out some with materials for that, but these guys will make a video and they'll hold it and say, this is going to be, when I get a sponsor for this video, I'll put it out. Interesting. I don't know if I have time for that. And then I was looking at the algorithms. They're talking about when you should put out videos. And so I was doing videos on Tuesdays and Fridays, and they were commenting and reading the information that I had. It was saying that you should really probably put out a video on Thursday or Friday, like just a video. And they talk about the algorithm and how you release it at a certain time, and then YouTube can get a feel for that video and decide if they want to promote it or not to get more and more views. So I'm looking at those kind of things and trying to decide what I want to do. Now, that said, I do have a video that I haven't even edited yet that's on the valance. So you've seen the valance that I've shared pictures, and then anyway, showed pictures and like teaser videos, right? Let me just give you a heads up on this. I want to show you this real quick because I haven't videoed anything in like 5 days, 6 days. Haven't done anything, which has been great in a sense because it took a lot of pressure off of me, right? But I'm able to take care of a lot of little things that are needed to be done for this car. And I've shown it in other videos, but like one of the things was building this valance, right? So I'm not done with it, but I was able to spend most of the day addressing this and getting it smooth and trying to make it look nice. So that's one thing that I was able to take care of and not film it. I didn't film it, but I did film the construction of it. But I don't need to film all this stuff because it's just putting on body filler and sanding it off. But I think that thing looks really sharp. I mean, it's going to look really good underneath the car. So that was one thing I was able to do. Another thing, which I've shown this before, is I have this rear valance, which is an original piece. And this thing was beat to death. I mean, it was really beat up and full of filler and stuff. So I straightened out most of it. I welded up some of the holes where the lights mount. And I think I talked about it on one of the videos where it had the retainer on the quarter mount on the, this would be the passenger side, but it didn't have one on the driver's side. So I was able to, I salvaged a piece off of a good valance that I had because I wanted this little bracket on here. So I was able to take care of that today and also start doing some filler work on it because this thing, even though I straightened out a lot of the dents, it's not straight. So I got to get all this taken care of. So those are some of the little things that while I'm not filming, I'm able to get some stuff done, which is, kind of a relief in a way, I'm able to just make things happen. So anyway, I'm going to edit that other video. And then another suggestion, which came to me earlier today, was an idea of how did they word it? Let me see how I can word this. Trying to use more Patreon, and trying to provide early access to videos or bonus videos or outtakes. And I'm interested in doing that. And I may actually start doing that. I may start release a video on a Patreon and then release it to YouTube later. I don't know. I've been experimenting. I'm playing with different ideas in my head, and so I don't know for sure. But I'm just trying to find different ways to help the channel. I've watched other YouTubers. Let's say there's a group out there. Somebody commented, what is it, Vice Grip Garage, where they do the same thing every single time. They like find an old car and they see if they can get it running. They've got like 1 million some subscribers to that channel, and I'm like, they just do the same thing. There's others out there that have 7 million subscribers, and they put out a video and they get 1 million views on it the first day. So that's kind of disappointing at times. But anyway, I'm going to still make videos. I'm just saying, I'm just experimenting with different ideas and trying to get input from people as well. Third stall. I drove a Tesla dual motor last fall, 0 to 60 in 3 seconds. Maybe nauseous, but so fun. I'll bet that would be super fast. Chris, I think we're over traumatizing this maybe in my nephew's time, but not now. Maybe. David Sherrill, don't forget to hit the thumbs up. Yes. Thank you for that. Kevin, any update on your rear seatbelt saga for your convertible? I am in the same place. No. Nope. Not at this time. That is just, right now, it's just sitting to the side, the whole project. So no updates on that. Jorge, just get airplane gas, 100 low lead. That's a good point. They're not going to make any, well, they're trying to make electric planes, but they're not going to fill the sky with them. Steve, I guess posting videos is kind of like sitcoms. They do take breaks, then release an entire series. Maybe that's what I need to do. Here you go. I don't know. Winged Warrior, hello everybody. Glad you're here. That's like Dave number 4, I think. Pedro, hello Barry. Hope you're okay. I am Pedro. Hope you are as well. Rick Stevenson, problem with getting 100 low lead is most airports won't sell to you without a tail number. That's a good point. You got to know somebody that lives on a small airport. That's how I used to get mine for my stock car. Yep, Dave here. Got it. Steve, Winged, and Rick, how do you get a wrench next to your name? They are moderators to the live stream to the channel. So when I get some riffraff that tends to show up and we start getting close to 100 people, I start getting some crazy people in here. They help me with not having those people in here. So that's what that's about. They're my support group. Dr. Boom, hey Barry, sorry I'm late to the party. Well, I'm glad you're here. Dave Conville, but Clark, I used a scaling drum and the 80 grade. It worked, but not quite the performance they show in their videos. I also had 3+ coats of primer on panel. So there's a response to the question of the drum on that Eastwood tool. Randall Heath, hey, from Mountain Green, Utah. Glad you're here. Greg, glad you're here, Greg. If you haven't checked out Greg's workshop, or Greg, I don't know if he's changed the name to Greg Blinko, but if you haven't checked him out, give him a look if you can, and see what he's working on. Yes. Let's see. Hi Barry, I'm restoring a 66 coupe. On the bottom of the door that runs along the rocker, a third of the way from the door jamb, there's a slight wave with a straight edge against it. Is that normal? Yeah, that actually holds your door seal. So you're talking about a piece of metal that's the length of the door, well, a little shorter than the length of the door, that has little waves in it. That's for your door seal. I think that's what you're asking. So that should be your answer. Chris, maybe switch to a video on Friday and a general overview of this week's progress. That could be too. And I'm trying to do my little repair videos too. I did one on that Honda Fit. I have another video I want to do on that Honda Fit that deals with lights and stuff like that. And I think people get stuff out of that as well. I've had other people suggest that I just don't I have the other channel, right? They actually said I probably shouldn't have done that other channel. I should have put all that stuff on this channel. And I was like, well, that stuff is all kind of general random things. And they implied that, well, people like those general random things too. It's not just car. Maybe they want to see other things that go on in life. I don't know. So that's where I'm kind of behind the curve on all that stuff. Chris throughout the week. Yeah. Great idea. So you're saying maybe switch to a video on Friday and a general overview of this week's progress. So you're saying it would be through the week. So the YouTube has the thing where they do the shorts. They call them shorts. And it's really I don't forget what the difference is. And you do a short segment of what you're working on. From looking at that, and I've had some responses. Where was it at? I get these responses from YouTube, and it says, where was it at? It gives me an update, that video short has been viewed so many times. And I think it's a great idea, to do those little shorts, but I have to be careful that it doesn't mess up the algorithm type thing. So maybe that's something I could do. Just do my little, those little teaser videos. I don't know. Dr. Boom saying +1 to Chris. Great idea. Jerry Baptist, it's 52 degrees in Pinellas Park, Florida. Stay warm and turn up the heater tonight. Yeah. Steve, Barry, seriously, I feel like your channel's on the cusp of becoming large and you were thinking outside the box to blow up. Dude, I feel it in my bones. I hope so, man. I hope so. I'll say this. I had a conversation today. And I'll just say this. I had left a review on an NPD product. And I probably didn't do them any favors in the way I wrote the review, but it was my fault. It was nothing wrong with the product. It was how I perceived the product. Anyway, I left a review. They emailed me and said, hey, what didn't you like about this? Which I thought was pretty cool. They emailed me, asked me what was wrong with it. And so I responded back and I said, I made a mistake. I actually resubmitted a second review, which is more favorable. I said, if you can delete that other review, or I don't know how I could do it. I don't know if they'll let me. Anyway, so we had that conversation. And then I asked about the idea of a sponsorship. I said, hey, just out of curiosity, how do I get, somebody interested in a sponsor? And so they forwarded my email question to a marketing guy. So the marketing guy sent me an email and he said, hey, what are you talking about for a sponsorship? Well, here's where I'm dumb. I'm like, I don't know. I gave him, I did a little research and I wrote out the stuff. This is what I do. This is what I work on. This is my demographics. This is some of my videos. This is a product that I did a video review on, blah, 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 and shared that with them. Well, they responded back and I'll tell you what they said because, it's a little disheartening, but I don't know how to take it. And it says, hi, Barry, thanks for your info here. I had a chance to check out a couple of your videos. Very well done. You've got a good looking YouTube channel as well. Well, that's a plus. Thank you for that. Then it says, I'm just not sure how we could be involved. Typically, when someone approaches us to get involved with a sponsorship, they've got a plan on how they want to partner on something. We only partner with maybe a half dozen or so individuals, companies online that have their own Instagram, Facebook, YouTube channels. The relationships have grown over time, but typically start out small, like us agreeing to supply a certain dollar amount of parts each year in return for reviews on their social channels. Anyway, give it some thought. I'd perhaps be open to some sort of arrangement. but not sure how we put something together. That was the response I got. So anyway, I'm not sure what to offer them. It's like, well, I'll send me some parts and I'll review it. I don't know. I'm not good at marketing myself. Dave, okay, so he's talking about the drum roller on the Eastwood tool. Dave Moore, guess I'm Dave number 5 then. Boland's Garage, I emailed you a pic of my 1970 coupe. Let me see here. Pull that up. Oh yeah. We'll get that up on the live stream here in just a second. I have to go through. Give me just 1 second. I can pull that up. Okay, so emailed you a pic of my 70 coupe. Here's the 70 coupe. It's a shell of its former self. Not uncommon. You see how the 70s are different with the side cowl? You know, that's actually that's kind of like the Camaro has on the sides. It's like you've got some work cut out for you. Good. Thanks for sharing that. Rich Gillen. Hello from Northern Virginia. Glad you're here. Rusty's could also batch record a bunch of videos and trickle them out over a few weeks. Yeah. That's kind of where I'm leaning towards. I don't know. Darren Cheryl going to make roast potatoes, carrots, and onions. Oh, that's my favorite. One of my favorites. I love roast. I'll give you a bell for that, just for making me think about it. Luis, let me see here. Sir, I follow you. I think you're a great teacher. Keep going. You'll make it. Thank you, Luis. Thank you for that. Footage Factory. So they boot the guys who thumbs down. No, they don't. We don't know who does the thumbs down. But when we get guys on here we've had some crazy people. I'll say that. We've had some crazy people show up and ask them. Really, they'll come up with. They'll try to get me to say something stupid. By the way they write it out, I'm not going to go there. But these guys help me out and get rid of those the riffraff. 428 Power checking in late. Glad you're here. Adriano Barbera. Hello from Brazil. Wow, cool. Glad you're here. 428, 84 viewers, but only 40 likes. Come on, hit the thumbs up. Yes. Let's see. Steve, Footage Factory. Food for thought. Maybe shut down the new channel and import all vids to this. I've thought about that. I have thought about that. But I don't see, whenever I first came up with the idea of doing the other channel, I submitted basically like a questionnaire to all my Facebook followers, and I think I did something on here, and I said, if I do another channel that covers a lawnmower, building a picture frame, really, random stuff, planting a tree, whatever, fixing my pressure washer, I was like, would you want those on this channel or should I do it somewhere else? And everybody said, do it somewhere else. We want to keep this focused on cars. So that's why I did that. And so that's where I'm at. But I'm still kind of toying with the idea of just putting it on here. Jack, dealing with 26 inches of snow and counting. Well, you can still work out in the garage, though. Just saying. Greg, it's still Greg's Workshop. Okay, cool. So if you haven't, again, give Greg's Workshop a look. He built some neat stuff. Just give him a look and see what you think. Marie McAdams. Hi, Barry. It's Dave from New Jersey, just tuning in. That's like 6 Daves now. We need to work at all the side glass in this weekend. Still requires more adjusting. A lot of work and tight quarters. Yes. The glass is tough. Jorge, make videos on cool tools. We all like tools. Yeah, I could do that. I've thought about doing that. I've done that on my other channel. chainsaws and weed eaters and stuff like that. Clark, can you put a video links at the end of the other channel so you get bleed over between both channels? I could do that. I've been trying to let people know, on both. Man, it's windy out there. On both sides as much as I can. Chris, what I'm saying is we do a video on Friday, like your regular show, repairs, painting, etc. Then on like a Wednesday, do a general catch up and hint on Friday's theme with the shorts. That's a good idea. I mean, that's reasonable. And now that I understand the shorts a little better, that may be something I do. So thank you. Chris, maybe find a project card or raffle out by NPD. Maybe. Winged Warrior, that's a great response. Time for a small business plan to present them. We can make that happen easy peasy. Well, I'm open to suggestions, Dave. Jeff JK66 Mustang, $49.99 super sticker. Thank you, man. That is awesome. That is very awesome. Thank you. That helps keep the lights on, honestly. Let's see. Doug Pinzer. Hello, Doug. Hello, Doug from upstate New York. Just finished plowing 6 inches of snow, getting ready for another. All good. Looking for advice on bare metal cleaner degreaser. I saw you use Windex on primer. Is it good metal? I have used Windex to clean stuff, but also if you're looking for a true degreaser, you buy that product. I mean, I have used PPG's. I think it's DX. I think it's DX 101. I think is the number. Works fantastic. Spray it on, wipe it off. I use paper towels, Bounty paper towels, and then blow it dry. Make sure you get all the stuff out of there, and before you apply any primers. But I mean, some people, I've used Windex for years. It works, but I've had other people say, the Windex leaves behind some sort of contaminant. So I've started doing both. I'll use Windex, and then I'll use my degreaser on top of that afterwards, and make sure it's all clean and dry. Steve, let's see. That's BS. I'm so determined now after heading out that marketing email. Come on, Barry. Let's blow this up. Okay. Roger Martin, have you gone back to all your videos and added info about your Patreon? I've tried. The difficulty with that, and I've gone back because I have 600 videos on YouTube. So if you can imagine, I'm sitting there and I'm like copy, paste. I can do it. It just takes a lot of time. But I've done it to a lot of those. I have done it to a lot of those videos. So that's a great suggestion, Roger. Thank you. Robert, sounds like NP doesn't know what they want. Yeah, they may not know what they're getting into. I mean, really. I'm unsure how to offer them something. It's like, usually think of a sponsorship. It's like, well, this product is provided by NPD, that's in my mind, how I look at it. But I don't know if that's how they look at it. I don't know. Samuel Lisa Smith, your personality goes a long way. We would probably watch you mow grass. We look forward to your videos. Well, thanks for that. Would I have to narrate while I do it? Turning left, straight, turning left, straight, turning left. David Outdoors checking in. I'm glad you're here. Steve, actually listen up, everyone in this chat. How many people in this chat have channels? How many people push people to Barry's channel? If Joe Daddy's blows up, we all do trickle down. Yeah, that's a good point. It's kind of like what they did with the GameStop stuff, right? The hedge fund, where the people on Reddit bought up all the GameStop and took all the money out of the hedge funds. Robert, I plan to dump all my videos of what I do on my channel. A baby back rib and a brisket video are coming very soon. Well, maybe I ought to reconsider having another channel and doing what I do with it. Marie McAdams. Hey, Barry, why don't you, and that's another Dave, right? Why don't you ask the group if we have marketing people in the audience that could help you put a plan together? Well, that would be nice. If there are some marketing people that would be willing to help, that would be awesome. Um, we'll see what happens. Bill Goebel, checking in late. Glad you're here. Rich Gillen. Enjoy your videos. Very well done. Restoring a 6.7 coupe since 1990. What primer do you recommend, if any, would you use for the dash and doors with grain? What primer do you recommend, if any? Okay, so would you use for the dash and doors with the grain? Okay. I did a video recently, late last year, on painting the trim or the interior sections of the doors on this 68 Mustang in the Jade series. And I used a single stage paint that I got from my PPG guy. Now, it was a custom mix. It was a custom mix that he uses on cars that he paints for people or when he does interior stuff. So he just gave me some of that, but it's a single stage. And I'd put primer on the doors previously. After I stripped everything off, I did put primer on the doors. I used, actually used on the doors, I used gray epoxy primer. The reason for that was I wanted to be able to spray the black trim color on top of an epoxy, first of all, but I also wanted to see the color change. So like if I had sprayed black epoxy and then tried to spray the black, it might not have shown up as well. So I tried to use a different color to make the black show up when I sprayed it, just for my convenience. Some people say you can, they're comfortable doing it with regular, black on top of black, and that's fine. But that's what I did. I did not use any build primer. I just used the epoxy and then went straight to paint on top of that. So hope that helps. Now we didn't get a lot of buildup and lose the grain. I will be doing a video shortly, I'll say that, on painting the dash in that car, and hopefully the side panels in the back, I think they need painted. Those need, I may do a video on that as well, but I need to get the dash painted. So, Kuderlev, you have a ton of knowledge. I think a Cool Tools or Tricks of the Trade series of short videos could help expand subscribers. Think of how useful a 12-volt test light can be if used right. That's a good point. I do have actually have a playlist of, I think I called it Essential Body Shop Tools. So I have done videos on tools like that, but that's a good comment. I like that. Marie, video is blurry. Anybody else having video problems? David Outdoors implying that soon to be 26 inches here in upstate. Wow. And there again is Jeff. Thank you once again, Jeff. That's awesome. Rick, Eric, the car guy, has 2 channels. He does okay. You will too. Well, that's a good point. I know he had had to abandon the first channel. I forget, it was some sort of sponsorship issue that he had to bail on that somehow. So that's why he started that second channel. Bob, no, you need heat in the garage and then it's all right, but no heat, no work. Glad I have heat. Yes, I am glad I have heat in here as well. In fact, you probably can't hear it. One thing I've added to the garage, and I may have shown it previously, I have the big unit on the wall, but we run into the situation where the heat goes up into the ceiling. What I've added is a 2-fan window unit that I picked up at like Ollie's discount chain, and it comes with this little remote, and it's a power, and you can have 3 different speeds, and you can change the direction of the fan. So the nice part about it is I have it sitting up in trusses, and it's actually aimed this direction, and so the heat that is making its way up into the roof, I'm able to direct it back down and trying to create a loop, and it seems to help quite a bit. So I know somebody said before about getting ceiling fans, blowing the heat down. So that's kind of what I did with that setup. But we got to have heat. Rick, me and my buddy built a Jeep in the basement of my house in December and January, and I lived in Maine. Wow. That sounds like a fun build in a basement. Tea time, new guy here, Ontario, Canada. Just scoping things out. Just scoping things out. Too cold for the tea bucket. Might as well be here. Well, I'm glad you're here, tea time. So that's your tea. That's your tea bucket in the picture. Cool. I'm glad you're here, Chris. Joe, I think if you form that you have a wide variety of your audience of restoring Mustangs, Camaros, Cougars, Firebirds, etc., they might jump as they offer for all them cars. Wait a minute, what? Are restoring, they might jump as they offer for all them cars. Oh, you're talking about NPD. Okay, gotcha. All right, so there's tea time. Teresa Lopez says hello. Glad you're here. Let's see. Big Red. Prepping for paint, I've converted from using paper towels to coffee filters. It's the bomb. Wow. Never thought about that. The reason we've always used Bounty is because they don't tend to leave any fuzzies. You know, they don't come apart very easily. So we've had very good luck with the Bounty stuff. Can you hear that? Wind blowing on that door? Stuff is creaking around here. Terry Pattison, hello from Chesapeake, Virginia. Glad you're here. Dave, that's a great idea. They need to get something out of it. They have a budget just like other businesses and need to spend wisely. Yes, and I did mention to them that I've been focusing on Mustangs, but I also do other cars. So that was in my initial email that I sent them. Rick Gain, we watched you fold a tent and clean a toilet. You have a watchable personality. Thank you, Rick. You're right. We talked about that earlier in the week. how I go from doing body work on a Mustang to unclogging a toilet in the house. Chris, look if he can just direct them as a great general parts for people's builds. Yeah. I mean, I'm all for that. Okay, so snow belts. Steve, yes, game stock, exactly. If we do band together and push this, it'll be more than any individual. That is true. Dude, stop. I'm working out of a drafty carport. I hate the S word. Yeah. Yes. Let's see. Steve, actually, I think the moderator should have more of a responsibility. Dudes are asking questions, but sometimes they're so complicated they don't know how to word it. Maybe they could get help from a moderator. Well, it's a possibility. I mean, normally the moderators can manage comments. Like, again, it's more of the idea of keeping the crazies out and asking, crazy questions and stuff. Terry Patterson's no problem here. Video's clear in Canada. Cool. Grease Rookie, Andrew, no problems here. Good. All right, good. Good feedback on the videos. All right. Rich, thanks. Looking forward to the Dash video. Also thinking of changing my name to Dave. Winged Warrior. It's a lot of paperwork, but worth it to change your name. Steve, name change. I like Joe Jetty's garage name. Is that what you mean? Everybody wants to be Dave. In fact, I'll do it by Friday. Reach out to NPD. Yeah. Crash Rider, see the garage door covers are moving from the blowing wind. Yeah. I mean, and those are held up with magnets and stuff, but the door's moving, wind's creaking outside. I mean, it's windy out. Chris, my 77 Foreman is one step closer to the paint decals and new chrome molding sitting in front of me. Cool. Well, as soon as you get it warm enough that you can do that, right? Robert, I could answer questions, but it clogs up the chat for Barry to read. Well, yeah. Where I answer a few, but don't want to overtake Barry's mojo. Yeah. Well, I mean, I try to keep everybody involved and be part of the process. And the only difficulty I run into a lot of times is I'll get a comment that's way out of sequence. And it's usually a question or something that somebody asked, and I respond to it, and then I have to figure out, well, what are they talking about? What were they referring to? Then I have to go back and try to find the other comment. So if somebody makes a comment, it'd be nice if they could just add in there what they were talking about. This is for or about something. It just kind of helps. Randall, batteries died on my welding helmet. Thought I would get second wheelhouse welded in on my 6.7 Cougar tonight, but it's not going to happen tonight. Well, I've watched people. I'm not that I want to do this, but I've actually watched people weld without even a hood. Now I don't want to take that chance, not me, but I've seen them do it where they keep their eye behind the stinger, behind the cup, and the light coming out is all they see. I'm not going to do that, but I have seen people do that. Jorge, can I change my name to Dave too? You can. That way I can just say, Dave said this, and everybody can say, that was me. Clark, I changed my dog's name from Penny to Dave, and now it's much more responsive. Dave Convo, looking to see if I can quickly copyright Dave. I might as well cash in on this rush. Steve, true. With the mojo, I actually feel that Barry's channel is hitting a Joe Rogan level and might need help. Moderators could help. Well, I have several moderators. I have several, as far as the process goes. I changed my dog's name to Go, and now when I tell him to come, he doesn't know what to do. Rick Gain, there's a character limit on how long a comment can be. Yeah, that's the other difficulty. So I'll get so many, or I might get part of a sentence, and then I'll get a follow-up to complete the sentence. So it's kind of tricky. Chris is saying, hey, blurry video, hit the 3 dots in the corner of the video to quality select 720p or 1080. If you watch a beforehand in a poor quality 480p, sometimes YouTube doesn't switch it to higher. Okay. At least on the app is what he's saying. Okay. So that's good information. Thank you, Chris. As I was saying, I'm trying to do other things or envision other things that I can do to help with the channel. And of course, anything from outside is definitely appreciated. And I don't know. It's just frustrating sometimes when I see some channel with millions of subscribers and millions of views, and I'm like, what's different? And I don't know. I'm working on it. I'm not going away. I'm going to be here. So I talked about the valance, front and rear. And once I get these finished sanded to where I'm happy with how they look, then I think I'm ready for primer on the front clip. There's just little things that need to be taken care of. And when your palms itchy, you got money coming, right? You know what they say? You got money coming? I don't know. Anyway, once I get those pieces finished, which I'm hoping maybe tomorrow, I could have all of these pieces sanded out. Then I can pull the front fenders, pull the hood, take everything in the back. If it was warmer, unfortunately, because it's so cold, I don't know that I'll be able to spray primer on that stuff. Even with the heater going in here, it's going to draw or take a lot to heat up that paint booth area. So we're going to see what I can do with it. But I'm pretty happy that I have the fenders are done. The fenders are done. The headlight buckets are done. The rock guard done. The front valance, the lower valance, it's really close to being done. And then, the rear valance, I want to get it taken care of as well. And I will point out, I'm very happy with, here, let me turn this on. There you go. Now you get the Joe Daddy's hologram. I've had discussions or talked about this, the valance on like the Brooklyn Pony, and I had 3 different valances, finally got one to fit, or I had to, do some custom work to make it fit. This factory valance, now on Jade, remember I replaced both quarter panels, tail panel, trunk drop offs, all that stuff is new. And when I put this up to test fit it fit perfect. So that's why I wanted to keep this valance, because I had, even though it was beat up, and I had some people say, well, just get a new one. Now, I like the factory stuff. It's always gonna fit better. But that thing fits fantastic on those quarter panels. So I'm very excited about it, and want to get everything in primer so that I can keep moving forward. Randall, ever weld up the radius front lower corner of a door? My rust-free door turned to Swiss cheese when I removed the paint in that area. I have, actually. I have at least 2 door repair videos. The one on a 70 Mustang and one on the 60. What was it? Which car was it? Was it Mystique? I think it was Mystique. Yes, 2 videos doing the same repair, fixing up the front forward section that was, messed up, rusted through. So you can check those and have a look. But there's, again, one on the 70 Mustang I did years ago and one I did on Mystique. So good question. Steve, NPD email sent. Uh-oh. You sent an email to NPD? Okay. Cool. Thank you. I hope the right person gets it and receives it well. Chris, I love your viewers' projects. Yeah. I've been looking for more. I've had a couple people contact me and say would be interested in doing the viewers project. I'm like, yeah, send me some footage. Robert, I rebuilt the stamped curved area of the inside panel of my driver's door. One of the door skin vids. Yes. Jock. I'm not even going to say that name. I don't want to get in trouble. Harvey, an old school welding lens is cheap, as in great backup if the factory helmet dies. A fancy helmet dies. Yes. I've talked about that growing up as a kid and learning to weld, with a stick welder, 220, the old Tombstone welder. And I've mentioned it before, we'd have a welding hood, and we never had the head strap thing. I guess I didn't even know they had, supposed to have a head strap. So I learned to weld with a stick, and, I would hold the hood in front of my face. So for years, that's all I ever did, just hold the hood, weld. And I guess it may be in some sense a better welder because I wasn't trying to cheat with my other hand. So for a long time, I mean, a long time, after I started doing repair work here, I actually had a good helmet, or a better helmet, with the head strap and everything in it. But before I could weld anything, I would reach up and I would grab that hood and I would weld with my MIG. It took me a long time to break the habit of holding that helmet, because it's muscle memory. It's like, this is how you weld. You hold your hand right here and do this. So, but yeah, good observation on the backup. Yeah. Well, get your car impounded by Disney. Yeah, I don't even want to mention the word. I don't even want to say it. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not even gonna talk about the E word. Let's see. Mike. Left hand money going out, right hand money coming in. Yeah, I guess. Caesar Gonzalez. I don't know how to say the last name, but hi. Yep. I got you, Jock. Tea time. Harvey picked up a true blue helmet. Big difference from the Auto Dark. Yep. Steve, I'm off to bed past 1 a.m. here. Well, I'm glad you're here, Steve. Appreciate your input. Dave Britton checking in. It's probably cold. I'm sure you're cold up there as well in Canada. Everybody else is suffering through this cold snap, or this cold that we're hitting us now. Boland's Garage. I feel like I'm in an unhealthy relationship with CJ Pony Parts. I keep getting the backdoor treatment, and yet I keep going back to them. Yeah. Chris, I'd send you that video, but I have to ask 8 people to say yes. Oh. Yeah, we don't want to, I don't know what. Okay. Randall, I'll be sending a viewer's project in when I install the new roof on my 67 Cougar. That'll be a nice update. I'm going to have to also update my Dropbox or whatever I end up using for the next video set. Steve, I'll be home in 3 weeks. I do have 2 old Mustangs. I could slap a video together for you, Barry. Yeah, I'd love it. I like the way you do your videos with your commentary. I like it. Okay, so now, Marie says, thank you, Chris. Now I can see Barry and the comments. Winged Warrior, the coronavirus is screwing up the supply chain for many people and businesses. Yes, very true. Okay. Bolins, we should make a new code for said car. Yeah, like Elaine. I'm working on Elaine. Let's see. Whoops. I lost the comment. Okay, Dustin. Hi, Barry. Are today's body fillers equal to or better than lead for the sail panel to rear quarter connection? For me, I use short strand fiberglass. I've never put the lead back. I'm not familiar with the lead. I don't want to mess with the lead. So I've used short strand fiberglass to build over that area and make sure to pack it into the seam and all that sort of thing and build it up slightly and then come back over it with Rage. So that's what I do. Haven't seen any issues with it. Let's see. Paul. Hi, Barry. How do we share a photo on here with you in relation to question about our project? As what makes sense to us sometimes may not always translate well. Send me the pic in an email. Send me the pic in an email. I can show that under my banners there. So if you have a picture, and I'll point this out, I've had some people send me some really nasty pictures. Just know those won't make it onto the channel. So I'm not saying you'll do that, Paul, but if you want to send me a picture of your project or car or whatever, send it to my email at the bottom of the screen, and then I can upload it onto here and show it to the group. So I'll leave that up for just a minute. Gordon Cahoon, video problem, select settings from info bar on video and change from auto to 720, clears up focus issues. I wish that worked for me too. I mean, as far as like my regular vision. Boland's Garage, excuse me, that's back order treatment. I read what you wrote, and I was kind of like, what? I'm glad you corrected that. Chris, Barry and I have a question. What's the hardest car for parts you had to hunt? The hardest? Okay, so if I had to hunt for parts for a car, what was the hardest one that I had to find parts for? Actually, it was probably the Dodge truck that we did at the body shop. 35 Dodge, like 2-ton truck that we rebuilt it. It was from Wyoming. Truck was, the fenders were beat to death. And I had to rebuild the fenders because you can't buy fenders for that. So that was the hard, looking for those parts was hard. And it's like, well, I can't find them, but that Dodge truck. And then of course one of the rare pieces, thankfully, that was there and we didn't have to search for was the little Dodge Brothers logo that grows on the grill. That was still there, and so we were able to use that. And those are pretty hard to find. But that would probably be, the hardest as far as things we had to look for. Now, we didn't find hardly anything for that truck, but we looked for them. One of the challenges on that truck, and I'll point this out, this was probably one of my favorite videos. I've got 600 plus videos on YouTube, right? One of my favorite videos was that Dodge truck and repairing the hood. So if you can imagine, 35 Dodge, I'm pretty sure it was 35. The hood folds up on top of itself. You can open that hood up, and the hood, one of the louvers was gone. So it had the ribs that run, and the way it's designed, I forget which direction it was. The louvers actually got shorter, I believe, as they went to the back of the vehicle. I think it's how it worked. They were bigger at the front of the hood and then worked their way smaller. So I'm telling you, this is one of my favorite. I felt there was one of those videos where you just like, what was it? Where's it at? When you accomplish something, and it works. Where's that picture at? I think I must have deleted that picture. Somebody else had sent me. There it is. It was one of these. When you accomplish something. Okay. It was kind of that kind of thing. So anyway, the louver deal, you can't just go buy a louver. Now you could make one. I mean, probably, but have a if you had the machinery for it. But I didn't have the machinery. All I had was experience. So what I did, and this is going to sound crazy, I took the louver from the other hood, the other half of the hood, that one that was whatever length that was, and I cut it out. I cut it out of the good half of the hood. And then I made a form out of a chunk of steel, and I took that louver and I made the form match the chunk of, I made the form match the louver. Then I took that louver and I welded it back into the good half of the hood where it was. And then I took a chunk of steel and I hand formed the louver as a replacement piece for the other side of the hood. Now that's a one-off thing. You'll never use it again. But when it was done, I swear you could not tell a difference between the two sides. That was one of those where I was like, I did that. Did you see? I did that. Just one of those cool things. But it was tough to find stuff for that truck. Let's see. I've got to get caught up on where I was now. Okay, so we have Paul. All good. Thanks, Barry. I'm in Australia and love the Brooklyn Pony build. Seen all the vids. You are like my sounding board. Oh, well, good. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you like the vids. If you send me, like I said, if you send me a pic, I'll pull it up. Jorge, CJ Pony Parts, happy with NPD. There's the phone number. Randall, my son is getting ready to install a quarter panel on his 67 Mustang. Most videos I've seen trim the panel to avoid the lead solder area. How hard to replace the panel without trimming and butt welding? How hard to replace the panel without trimming and butt welding? Actually, the Infernal Craftsman, Robert, he has some videos on doing it just like that. So if you want to check out his channel and see how he's done it, I've worked those panels in before. It can be done. We know it can be done. Robert has proved it. I've seen him do it. And he had some great ideas as to how to make it happen. So it can be done, but to me, it's a little harder, but it's not incredibly hard. I'm just used to doing it the way I do it. So, ran a previous owner trim the panel into the radius below the lead solder area. Yep. I mean, you can do it. Robert has done it. So again, check out his channel, give it a look, and you'll see. Bad Harry, that's my kid pick and how I feel. Yes, I knew you had sent that to me, and that's how I felt about that job. Randall, will the flange fit under the roof area easily? It takes a little work, as Robert is saying right here. It takes a little work. I have it on my quarter panel replacement videos, so give it a look. Chris, I found a 73 Montego, but it's not optioned properly. Bench seat and column shift. We need to convert it to the 72 nose buckets and console. I don't know how hard it is to find those parts. You're welcome, Randall. Gordon, how about doing a video on how to drive on snow by Joe Daddy? You know, that would be fun. I grew up driving in the snow, and I mean, that would be fun. Of course, I need snow to do that. Boland's Garage, I plan to fabricate an Elaine hood scoop on my 70. Yeah. Mike, have you ever used carbide burr set to remove spot welds, speed things up? I actually have. I have used carbide burrs, but I don't. I mean, I've used them some on some welds. I mean, results can vary with any of that stuff, but they do work. They do work pretty well. And I've used, the burrs for spot welds on occasion. I've used them on enlarging holes, obvious use like that. So, but I don't often use them for the welds. I'll either use a disc and grind through the top of the weld, or I'll probably be using the belt sander that I bought. All right, so let's see. We're gonna pull up. We have some more pictures to add to the pile. Give me just 1 second here. Let me see. It doesn't happen automatically. I have to give it a second or two to make the routing from wherever, go into space, come back. It travels nowhere in my computer and takes seconds or minutes or whatever. We all know how that works. Okay, so I have some pictures here from Willie, and let me pull up one of the pictures. So hold on. Let me get Mike's comment out of the way. All right. So, wow. It looks like the bottom half of the car is really solid. But this is from Willie, and he says, this is my 65 T-code bone stock Mustang that my mom and dad bought new. It was my brother's first car, then mine. Got destroyed May 3rd, 1999 in Moore Tornado, Moore, tornado sitting in my parents' garage. We pulled it out, and it has sat covered until June 2020. The wife told me it was time. Thanks for all the vids, sir. Awesome. Let me see if I can get the other pictures up here. So there's one. Let me get to the next one here. There's another shot. So I'm assuming if I do the sequence, without the roof, I guess is the latest picture. I'm going to assume, because those pictures show it with the roof, and it looks like it's not. I don't know. I'm not sure. Let me see if I can minimize that. So I'm not exactly sure. But I mean, the bottom half of what I'm seeing, the wheelhouses and the floor drop-off or trunk pan drop-offs look solid, which is surprising. All right. Let me take that off. Let's see. Arthur Woodward figured out the Stang. Okay, good. Chris, hen's teeth are rare. Yes. And Willie had sent me the email. Chris, my Mustang will be named Sally. That's a good call. I like that. Terry, what are your thoughts on adding a GT hood scoop to a stock hood? I've I think I've done that once. I'm not against it. Depends on, I've seen people put on hood scoops and they fiberglass it in, and it seems like down the road they crack out for whatever reason. That would be my only concern, is if you use fiberglass to finish it out. Robert, I have used carbide burrs, but they produce nasty, painful, sharp shavings. That is very true, and you get them in your finger, you'll know it. That much I can say. Gordon, driving on snow is easy. Driving on snow with other people on the road is hard. Yeah. This is a funny story, and I'll relate this. And when I was in the military, I had a 67 Plymouth Belvedere GTX clone. Had a 318 in it, automatic, burgundy. Oh, wait a minute. I think, do I have a picture of that car? I thought I had a picture of that car in my pile. Nope. Anyway, so I had that at Fort Benning, and I needed to go somewhere. I forget where it was, but I needed to go somewhere. And it had snowed in Fort Benning. This was back in 80, gosh, what year was it? 87, 88, something like that. A good bit of snow, enough to where they just shut down everything. I mean, there was probably, in Georgia, 6 inches of snow will shut down everything. Anyway, so here I was out driving, and I mean, when you have an interstate that there's no tracks on the interstate, there's nothing. There's all the main roads leading in and out are just totally clean snow. And so this is I-85 or whatever it is, I-185 or whatever, it leads into Columbus, Georgia. So I take this car out, and I didn't have winter tread tires. I just had regular tires on it. And I get out there and I get on the interstate. Well, there's not a soul to be found. Nothing. There's no trucks, no cars, no nothing. I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. So I started blasting down the interstate, blowing snow everywhere. And then I started cutting the wheel and just doing donuts. I mean, as I was going down the interstate, I got it kicked sideways and just going down the interstate. And so I went up and I turned around, and I was just tearing it up, having a ball. And then I see these blue lights come on, and I look, and there's bridges, there's overpasses, and there were cops sitting up on the overpasses trying to keep people off the roads or whatever. And they're over there, they're looking down at me. And I'm just tearing it up, going up and down the interstate, doing donuts all over the place. I did that for a little while, and then I was like, okay, I did enough. Drove off. Went back to the barracks. They never came after me. They wouldn't even consider trying it. So it was a lot of fun. All right, back to the scoop question. Dave says he had a scoop, a lot of work to get it to look like it was born there. So good observation. Arthur, the electric fan was too much on the charging system, and I'm going with a bigger battery and alternator. Okay, so you had the alternator question last week or a week before or sometime in the past. Got it. So electric fan was killing it. Okay. Rick Gain, you want snow to drive on? Come on into New Jersey. While you're here, you can go educate my body shop guy. Yeah, I don't think your body shop guy wants me to show up. Let's see. Randall, multitasking, watching in front of Craftsman on iPhone, and Joe Daddy on iMac. Cool. Chris, funny story about my dream car for the Ford Torino. My two crushes' names in high school, one had the last name Ford, and one's first name was Tori. It was easily to talk in mechanic shop without them. Without them noticing. I get it. All right, so Robert has another video coming out tomorrow. Oh, 55 amp alternator. I need a bigger one. Any suggestions? So anybody have a better or a bigger amp size alternator for Arthur? The bigger the better, I would say in your case, but I don't know what the specific numbers are. I think 85 is the next one up, I think. Harvey, I used a multifunction tool to separate the drilled spot welds on the sail panel from the inner structure when doing full quarters on my 68 Mustang. A multifunction tool. I don't know what exactly that might be, Harvey. When I think multifunction tool, I'm thinking like the little plier deal, the Leatherman. That's what comes to mind when I think multifunction. Chris, Rick, snow driving, hold my beer. I'll be out there in normal whiteout conditions, driving down the middle of the highway and sliding around curves in Ontario. Yep. Randall, multitasking is too hard. Going to sign off and get some dinner. Clark Clifford, 1987 Benning snowstorm. We had a snowball fight in Harmony Church, one casualty. So 87, see? Clark was there. You remember that snowstorm. I was the guy that I was out on the interstate tearing up the roads. Sketchy Ride, thank you to Barry and this community for reminding me that there are good people in this world. Thanks for being willing to teach us young enthusiasts. I'm glad you're here, Sketchy Ride. And I'm glad you appreciate what we do. And I like your little character. That's Crash Bandicoot on your little icon there. I just want to say that Crash Bandicoot, when we got it on PS1, long time ago, my kids played it, and they couldn't beat it. I beat it before they did. I get a bell for that. I like Crash Bandicoot. Clark, that's winter 87-88. Yep. Chris, my old man, while visiting my mom in New Jersey on the Pennsylvania Turnpike, did 3 donuts, sliding and straightened out the cop watch from the side of the highway, too scared to move on the black ice. Yeah. And just nodded at him. Yep. Yeah, I mean, it was funny. They weren't going to come after me. They were like, they didn't know how to drive on the snow, so they just let me have my fun. It was fun. Scottish Kilt, do you build classic Mustangs? If so, can you build me one? Well, that's what I focus on pretty much, is classic Mustangs. Can I build you one? I don't know. I have lots of coal. Lots of too many pokers in the fire, I think is what the expression is. Sometimes. Let me do this. Pull this off so I can see this better. All right. Boland's Garage, will an aftermarket quarter panel mate straight to an aftermarket trunk floor drop-off, or is there another piece between the two where they mate at the bottom of the trunk floor drop-off? No, there is not. It is directly trunk pan drop-off, quarter panel. That's it. No other pieces. Which is I've talked about this before. I think I was mentioning it last week, how much I appreciate what I would say is the simplicity of the design of this car. It's easy to overcomplicate things, but these cars were relatively simple in their design, and tons of spot welds holding everything together. But that's all there is between the quarter panel and the inner trunk panel. Weld the two together. And I have that. I have several videos on that. So if you go to my Mystique video, I have it in there. I have it on the Jade video, putting these quarters on. I show that as well. So good question. Scottish Kilt, if the money is right. Well, yeah. If the money is right, I'll shove everything out of the garage and start building. I'll say that much. Money talks. Arthur, any idea where I can get Mustang 2 parts and sheet metal 76 fastback for my next project and going white and blue like Farrah's car? That I don't have an answer for. But I keep hearing that those Mustang 2s are going to start becoming more and more popular. I don't know. I mean, it is a Mustang. They did come with V8s in them, which makes them pretty neat. But I keep hearing they're going to start becoming more and more valuable. I don't know. Harvey saying Harbor Freight sells them. The multi-tool thing? I guess I'd have to. Yeah, I still don't know what you're referring to, Harvey. Wayne Ward, too many irons in the fire. Yes. I was going with pokers. Irons. Thank you. Chris, very honest opinion. A stock motor bored and stroked, or a new crate motor in your build opinion? A lot of that's budget. A lot of that is budget. So let's say you had a low miles, or let's say you had an engine with 80,000 miles on it, and you pull it apart, and you can save it by doing a maybe a 10 over bore, or 20, or even 30 over bore. I would just save that engine. I like the idea, if you build it yourself, there's something valuable about that. And you're not disposing of a good engine that could be, granted, a lot of places they'll take it on trade and then they rebuild it and blah, blah, blah. But I just like the satisfaction. I've built several engines. I do like the process. But if you can save the engine, I would rather build an original engine than to buy a crate motor. Just my opinion. Now, of course, the easier thing is going to be to buy the crate motor. You got to find a machine shop to do your work. You got to order parts. There could be conflicts with stuff fitting. So anyway, just my opinion. Robert, the quarter goes right up against the drop off, but if it is a 65.6, the aftermarket drop off is much bigger, as it is sized for the up to 70 cars. Okay. Yeah, I knew there was a change in the size for the drop off, but I didn't consider that, Robert. Good point. Marie Bear just signed back on. Any news on 67 Coupe you looked at last week at the body shop? No news yet. I talked to the guy. Have not heard back yet. So we'll find out. Thanks for all the good videos. Learned a lot from watching Jade's video restoring my 69 Chevelle. Can't wait till summer. Cool. Scottish Kilt, looking for a 67 Shelby GT 500, like an original one or a clone. So, obviously building an original is going to be more challenging than building a clone, which is something I may be able to pull off, actually. Maybe. Yeah, if you're looking for the clone, I might be able to help you with that. Jorge, check out MPD alternator rebuilt Chrome 100 amp high output version is $189. So there's an answer to Arthur on his alternator question. Chris, I'll take a 7581 Firebird, best looking coupe from that era. Mustang 2 is a sportified Pinto. Well, in a sense, it is. I can't argue that. Boland's Garage, Rodden Custom has a great Mustang 2 front suspension bolt-on kit for first generation Mustang. So there's some information. Okay, so Dremel tools are multi-function. Okay, that makes sense. I guess when I hear multi-function, I just think of like a Leatherman. That's what comes to my mind. Oh, okay, hold on a second. Dave Conville saying the multi-tool is a vibrating tool that you can put different cutting or scraping blades on, originally called the fine tool. Okay, now that makes sense. So you're talking about that tool that has a little rotating head on the front that has a little blade. Like if you wanted to do trim work on a house and cut the bottom of a trim off, if you're putting in a floor, it'll buzz back and forth and cut that off. Now I get it. Okay. Now I get it. I hadn't thought about using it for spot welds. I'd have to see how that actually works. Winged Warrior, if it was easy, anybody could do it. Yes. Very true. Boland's Garage. It's hard to beat the crate engine once you figuring the value and peace of mind that comes with the warranty. As long as it comes with the warranty, yes. There is value in that. I agree. Terry, did you know Musty 1 just fixed up a 70 Mercury Cougar XR7 that he bought? No. Scottish Kilt, what's the best Mustang you have built? The best Mustang? I That's debatable. I'm building the 66 convertible, known as a Brooklyn Pony, which is, has a lot of cool parts in it, cool suspension mods, 347 stroker engine, all that stuff. But I'm partial to the Jade Mustang just because I like the way it looks, and just kind of right now my favorite car. So, okay, Wingdoor Scott, best contact Barry separately on this. Yeah, you can send me an email, Scottish Kilt. If you want to send me an email to communicate, we can do that. So the email is at the bottom of the screen. If you want to send me something, we can talk about it. Okay, so, all right. I'm going to download this picture that Paul sent me. Okay, we're gonna talk about that here in just a second. So let me pull this back off. Go back to my comments. Go back to brand, and we're going to talk about Paul. He had sent this picture. The conversation was about repairing the door, and here's what he's talking about: the skin and the let me read what he wrote. This is what I meant about the slight wave. When I put my straight edge on the bottom section where you see a skim of filler, I had a 2 millimeter concave wave in it. I've heard some call it door woof. That's a new one. I am straightening it as I have also done on my door gaps to 3.5 millimeters all the way around. The scoop is the center of the door was straight. It was only this bottom section. Is this normal? Okay, so I've got the picture up. And again, I'm still trying to define exactly, maybe I'm not reading this right. Bottom section where you see a skim filler, I had a 2 millimeter concave wave in it. Okay. No, I'm going to say it's not normal. That's my answer. It should not have a wave in that bottom section. It probably got hit at some point and just kind of pressed it in. It should be pretty well straight in that area. So that's about all I can say on that. And I don't know if you can get a tool in behind inside the door and work it out a little, that would help. But you're still likely going to have to put filler on it. So, all right. Let me get back up here. Bill Goebel, oscillating tool. There you go. Good answer. I like that. Chris, if my Firebird wasn't numbers matching, I'd be hot rodding it. My Torino will be an old school hot rod. Cool. Geo Angelus. Do you have any friends or know people that are selling a Ford Lightning bumper, OEM or original with all parts? That I don't know. What year Ford Lightning would probably help. Maybe somebody has some contacts. So if you post what year Ford Lightning, that'll definitely help people out. Adam, what's going on with the Brooklyn Pony? Haven't seen any updates lately. It's on standby. It's on standby. It needs some parts. I'm not sure if we're having trouble getting parts, but there's certain things I want to have done before I move forward on that. So at this point, it's on standby. And the plan is I'm going to get paint on Jade, get a bunch of parts on Jade as best I can. If I can, I want to be able to drive this car. It's been pushed back for quite some time, and it needs to get some love. So that's the status right now. Okay, so Geo is saying 2001 Ford Lightning I'm guessing a front bumper, is looking for a Ford Lightning bumper. So if anybody has any information on an OEM Lightning bumper, post it here real quick. That's about all I can say. 64.5 Stang, when you shot PPT high build over the epoxy on Jade, did you have to for some reason? Oh, yeah. So the epoxy, I go to bare metal, right? And then I wanted to do the high build so that I could see, like, I'm going to do, block sanding. Well, you can't, I would not recommend block sanding epoxy. I want to block sand high build. That's what it's there for. So if there's any flaws in the body, I can sand them and find those flaws and fix them, add filler or whatever to address that. And then the plan is, as it sits right now, I've done some more body filler work here and there. I'm going to block sand the whole car. And then I'll actually spray another round of high build on it. I want to make sure there's no flaws in it. Once I'm satisfied with that, then I'll move on to adding, paint. But, bare metal, epoxy, and then high build. That's what I do. So, okay. So again, 2001 on the Ford Lightning. Chris from Firebird Formula is getting near done. What's your go-to muffler brand? Magnaflow, Thrush, Flowmaster. I'm going to Exhaust Shop to build me one. The mufflers that I have on Jade are the Thrush welded mufflers. They're not as expensive as Flowmasters or Magnaflows, but they sound pretty darn good. I like them. So you're saying do a MPD Rock Auto. I think they're looking for original Ford Lightning bumpers. So I don't know what's offered through MPD or Clark, why did you change the name from Dave to Jade? Dave's not here. Chris, the usual car parts. Okay. All right. So Grease Rickley is signing off. He's had enough. I don't blame him. Robert's still here, and that's good. Okay. Well, we still have 89 people watching, which is cool. We're getting close to cutoff time. It's going on 2 hours, which is fine. That's what we normally do on Mondays, and usually do a Thursday, about 1 hour, depending on who shows up and what's going on. Okay, no other emails. Good. So again, I'm looking for a lumpy cam sound. Well, you have to put in a lumpy cam to get the lumpy cam sound. I'll just say that. If you have kind of a stock engine, you can get some out of the mufflers, but usually a lumpy cam is what makes that lumpy cam sound. But you can add, the mufflers will enhance whatever's there. Put it that way. So hopefully you can get what you need and it'll sound good. All right. So the plan is, as I've said, let me see. Paul, thanks for the help today. Would you consider using something like Evercoat Express 440 after you block sand to capture any pinholes before wet sanding and before the sealer? I have not used Evercoat Express, so I can't give you a good answer on that. But if you do have some pinholes, which hopefully you don't, because after block sanding, you should be good to go. But I've not used Evercoat Express 440, so I don't have an opinion on that. Sorry, I don't have a good answer for you on that. Chris, numbers matching. I'm stuck. Yeah. Clark, what size exhaust pipes on Jade? I have 2.5-inch pipes on Jade. 2.5-inch. Third stall. Thanks for a good session tonight. Always learn a thing or two and enjoy it. Good. Well, keep making your videos, and you'll get people watching them as well. All right. So again, I'll do a little recap. I'm going to finish sanding out these panels tomorrow, hopefully. I'm going to pull the front fenders off, pull the hood off, get that stuff in the back so I can get it ready, for high build. I need to edit that other video that I did for the Valance, which I think people will like that video. It worked out really good. I mean, you've seen the Valance, but once I get it all smoothed out and everything, it's going to look fantastic. The other thing that I need to address, and it's kind of a small thing, the grill that I'm putting in Jade, or the one I want to put in Jade, is the honeycomb or the expanded metal Shelby style grill. And I can tell you right now that they build that Shelby style grill for the Shelby style front end. It's not built for a stock width Camaro or a Mustang front width there. So if I'm going to use that expanded metal grill, I have to reshape it. It's going to be too narrow on the ends. And so I have to figure out if I want to play with this or if I want to just get a whole nother piece of expanded metal and make my own. I haven't decided yet, but something has to change for that to work in this car. Just the way it looks. All right. So Big Red's saying ditto. Yes. Thank you. Jorge. Good night. All stay safe. Yes. Bolin's Garage. Thanks again. Always a pleasure to watch your channel. Keep up the great work. Thank you. Good night. Good Monday. I didn't know you were here. I'm glad you were here. But as I was saying, I'm going to get these sanded out, get everything going primer. I do need to block out the body, finish block sanding that, make sure it's right. But the steps are getting shorter now, I wish I could have had it. The temperature is warmer right now, but it's not helping. So I have to make sure things are right before I can do any kind of serious spraying on that. 64.5 Stang. Use your trailer hitch ball forming trick to form the missing mystery piece on the right floor pan. Worked great. Cool. Crash Rider, make your own grill. It would make for an interesting segment. Yeah, I'm thinking about it because I have the 68 grill, which fits the car like it should, and I can use that as a template, for whatever I design. The difficulty is I need to come up with a big piece of expanded metal to make it happen. I have some friends who are into metal fabrication stuff, doing not car stuff, but like metal frame rail or handrails and whatever. So then maybe they can help me out getting the piece of expanded metal that I need for that process. We'll see. I haven't decided just yet, but I'll get that other video edited, and I'll probably put it out on Monday. I may consider releasing it early on Patreon, if I can get it all put together in time, but we'll see how that goes. All right. It's 1:55, hour 55 minutes. I'm going to call it a night. It's starting to get cold in here. I know it's definitely cold outside, so we're going to call it tonight. I want to thank everybody for being here and participating and helping out. Mechanical Dylan, are you bold? No. But I want to thank everybody for being here and participating. We had some great questions tonight and great responses from people in the gallery on the side. So I want to thank everyone for participating. But I'm going to call it a night. I'll be back on Thursday at 3 p.m., 3 in the afternoon. So if you want to be part of it, show up for that. And that's going to be it. So thanks for watching. And until next time, take care of yourselves. See ya.